Alright, happy holidays, yay. I don't even know what holiday it is. I just know it's a holiday. It's a long weekend. It's a Monday. It's currently 10:27 a.m. I woke up at like 8 a.m. Normal people hours. I slept a whole 8 hours or something. I think 9 hours. And I'm still so tired. Holy shit, depression fucking sucks. Um, Last time I covered this artist, which by the way, like who else am I going to listen to in a state such as this? Um, Last time I covered this artist, things were a lot different in the apartment, the set, whatever you want to call it. I used to have all my instruments behind me. I don't anymore. I hate that. I liked that. You look at my thumbnail or my videos or so, like you see like there's the drums and there's the guitars and all that kind of stuff, and then my piano and all that. And there's a bit more of a, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He plays things, and I do a lot of things. Now I just look like some gooner or something. Fucking all my. Let's see what I got here. That's a nothing. I don't know. Anyways, um, we're gonna look at this album today. I know it looks like I've listened to this in full. I have not. This is one of those albums that like when I go to bed every night, I need music to sleep. That's just my brain works. And usually I'll put on an album, and I might get the first track or two, maybe, before I fall asleep. If I'm already tired. And even if I get through some of it, I don't remember anything. But like I'll remember like either I liked it or I didn't like it, and I remember like the general vibe maybe, and then that's somewhat how I choose which albums to kind of cover next and stuff. And yeah, so it may looks like I listened to all this. I have not at all. So I've never. I mean, hold on, let me see. There's a song or so I know from one of the EPs, one of the big popular ones, but it's not on this one. So yeah, nothing. I don't know anything here. So we're gonna start this off with the first track as you normally do. Let's go to track 6. Okay. Never mind. Dumb joke is dumb. Oh shit! Fuck. And it's covering my face. It's been moving that around a lot, I guess. Alright, track 1. My fucked up head. Let's fucking go. I don't know what it's a sample of. It's clearly like a vocal sample of some kind. I know that I like to use manipulative vocal samples, but I have no idea what that could be. I mean, probably not supposed to, but, whatever. Just texture at this point. I don't even know why I said Gruner at the start. There's just fucking CDs and shit there. I don't even know if I said Gruner. I fucking redid that intro like fucking 10 times. Was the first word that came to mind when thinking of someone who's not qualified to talk about mostly anything. I don't want to look like that. I want to look qualified as I lounge around and not look qualified. track's really lots of like rise and fall, lots of like swelling in this intro. I think the other ones I've heard have been very like minimal, very quick. And this is setting up a mood very well, actually. I assume it's going to change now. I guess I already saved it. Cool. Whatever. I like that. Kind of reminds me of like guitar feedback on like a metal album or something. I think there's other voices in there I can't quite make out, really. I saw a video once on some of like the samples they've used. It's really interesting. You know, there's a lot of lots of, I don't want to say lots of weird things, but like lots of commercials. There's a commercial or two that super weird commercials. Track 2, I break my heart in yours. Surprisingly nice. There we go. I was gonna say a slower beat. The drums are not as front and center in the mix as I thought they'd be. Interesting. Yeah, I remember there's this one commercial. It was it was like a Japanese candy, and I don't know. There we go. Kicking it a bit more full force now. I don't know if it was like a fake commercial or not, but it was like a popsicle or something like that, where like sometimes they'll like I've seen it like in a lot of things, like, you know, we have some here in Canada. I've seen some from Iceland, you know, where they sometimes try and like mix toys in it. Like there's like this Icelandic like popsicle that's also like a slide whistle. It's really cool, you know. But it was like that, where it was like a candy mixed with like a concept. But it was like, how do I explain it? It was like you like would put it like along your wrist and it looked like you like cut yourself or something. It was super like I don't know if it's a real commercial, like a real candy or not, but like it was definitely a odd commercial, you know. Interesting vocal sample, I like that a lot. I'd like this a bit higher in my headphones. I don't want to really screw around with the audio mixing on the OBS. But it should be okay, as long as I speak a bit more, it should be fine. I've literally had whole videos where you can't fucking hear me apparently, so I need to fix that. Yeah, like here's the thing, right? Nice. A lot of the samples are they're manipulated so much, or they're like in Japanese or something like that, you know. I've not listened to this. Why is it saved? I feel like with the kind of music they do and stuff, I feel like if they actually had the samples like in English, like more understandable, then it would add a lot to the music. But it's just like they're like background like Easter eggs, I guess, and like I wish they were more front and center, you know. And I'm gonna shut up for a while. I wasn't planning to have that drag on as long as it did. I just kept stumbling over my words, and I had, you know. I like that. It's mixed way differently than I thought it would be from listening to some of their other stuff. Listen to some Symphony. Listen to some of their early stuff. I want to get to all their albums eventually. And you know, I did Draining Love Story. You know, I did a video on that, and I totally forgot I did. And then for like a few months, I was planning to do it, not realizing I already fucking covered it. So I've been listening to the one with the Moral Oral sample a lot. It's some weird word. I don't know if it's a Latin or something, but I don't know. Some kind of word that's hard to pronounce, sort of an E, one of the bigger hits off the album. I like that one a lot. Track 3, Looming.Sorrow.Descent. I'm gonna start locking it a bit more now. Other than the vocal sample near the end, I'd say I like that track same as the first one. It's just, you know, more of a vibe, lots of kind of different little details coming in and out, you know. That's nice. That's crunchy. Already, I like this one a lot. Ooh. It's almost like double bass. Like a death metal track or something. You know, I love this one. I love this one a lot, actually. Ooh. That's very, like, rave-like. You know, I'm thinking of their past albums and stuff, you know, in my head, you know. Don't Be Afraid of Dying and Draining Love Story and stuff. I noticed that they're going more and more into like texture and not like a beat throughout, and more of like a constant like it's almost like a swirling of different like beats and melodies and samples and things. It's like really fits. Like I like that a lot. I don't know if that's more of a common thing in like drum and bass and jungle stuff in general, but I feel like it works with like them and like their art style and like the subject matter and stuff. Like, you know, if it's all tied together in a very nice way, you know. It's one of those artists that really have like a very good, have a good idea, have a good strong foundation idea for what like their image is, you know. That double bass part is crazy. This track's fucking sick, man. It's good. Nice. Nice, like that one a lot, definitely. Definitely a highlight so far. Just cuts in. Track 4, I Bleed. Ooh. Crunchy beat. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. But I don't want to be like one of those reactors that just, you know, just sit and listen, don't say anything, but like, this music you gotta sit in, you gotta kind of let it, you know, kind of take over you and stuff, you know, you gotta let it do its job. And also, there's not a lot to say, it's just doing what it's doing it good. Wow. Yeah, nice. Well, okay, now it's rolling. Track 5, Restlessness. Oh, it's a big dude. I see. So many little details, also, just all the time. Hey, it's Miku. Actually, yesterday was Not Miku Day, but it was Miku's birthday yesterday. Sounds like, I want to say Miku 2, I want to say, or a Vocaloid 2, I want to say. Cool synth line. I know this was 4 years ago. I think this was, I don't think it was released then, 2021. Yeah, we had like fucking, I think Vocaloid 4, and I think we had, actually we had 5 at the time. 5 just came out. They made an intentional move, I guess, to use the older sound banks. Maybe this is all they had. Who knows? But that does not sound like anything that's older than like 3. It might be 3. It sounds like a V2. Miku V4X, like solid, still sounds like super good. Track 6 existing everywhere. These are really like just kind of, I think it's part of the point of the album too. It's really like going like, it's just like kind of, you know, it started kind of leading us into a certain, not leading us in, like, it set a good tone, and then it's just been like, you know, switching since then, you know. I think that's pretty intentional, considering the album name and stuff, you know. I know there is like, something happened around this time too. Ooh. Okay, nice. Again, already. Like, I'm saving these early, but like I know they're gonna stay about the same vibe the whole song. I don't really need to hear the whole thing to know. If it starts off good, I know it's gonna be good, you know. Starts off bad, then it's bad. But yeah, like I know the next track is called Car Accident. I don't know if that's what happened, but there's some life event around this time that inspired this album. I don't remember what it was. I could be wrong too. I'm pretty sure there was one, so I think. There's nice pacing too, you know, like with just the tone of the synth and like what they're playing, how it's composed, and the actual beats. They're matching. They're setting and changing the pace really well. It doesn't feel like the beat picks up like too early or like falls off too late. It's all very nice, you know. There's a very good ebb and flow happening throughout this whole thing. Except when intentionally break song to song, which again I think is pretty on purpose. Liking that bass too. Like in the space it's given us. I wonder if existing everywhere is also like a Lane reference. Might be. Who knows? Knowing them. Actually, I don't think June has ever utilized Lane stuff. I think like the whole Lane core kind of aesthetic came after them, like from like their community and like from like that area of like kind of like depressive drum and bass and stuff. There's something very like I feel like drum and bass and all that, you know, jungle, whatever you call this, definitely is like in like a revival of sorts. But it's very different. Like it's you know, with like, you know, with June and like the Lane core kind of stuff, and you know, a lot of stuff that says it's breakcore when it's not actually breakcore. It takes on a very like depressive, you know, vibe, and it's, you know, I can definitely see, you know, June being kind of the start of like kind of the start of that movement. Not necessarily maybe intentionally, but like, you know. Next track, car accident. That sounds like a distorted car too. Like, not to be insulting literally at all, but like if like if June is like your favorite artist or whatever like that, like you're a very specific type of person. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I can totally see these types of people being like, you know, a little parasocial to an extent, and like depressed and stuff. Like, I can totally see, like, you know, especially because they, you know, June took a hiatus for a long time. I can definitely see some people like, you know, getting really attached to this style, and then, you know, what happens? You know, like artist establishes a style, artist leaves, new people come in and like fill in that void. You know, and I don't have the timeline of things, but like I feel like that's what happened, you know. They had a huge cult following, you know. They left for a couple years, and in that time, I've seen this whole like kind of like subculture of drum and bass pop up, like the Lane core stuff, and breakcore got really popular, and it's kind of become synonymous with like this kind of depressive, you know. I don't want to say like there's like the doomer slow edits of things, you know, like it's a very specific, you know, type of you know, like talking to my brother about that a while ago, about because he used to listen to a lot of this kind of stuff, but like back in the day when it wasn't when it wasn't depressing, it was all, it was, just, I wouldn't say either party music or more just like, maybe like a little heavier, heavier, I guess, I mean, what I mean that is like darker, I guess, like I would say Skrillex is a bit like darker in terms of electronic music, a lot of minor keys or whatever, Point being, I remember talking about how like that stuff's kind of come back, but it's been a very different tone and all that. This is, I think, the longest song of the album, and I assume it's gonna kind of yawn. Sorry. I assume it's going to drop into something. I'm kind of waiting for something to happen, I like the distorted guitar. I think that's what it was. There's distorted voices at the start. But I'm waiting. No idea why those peaks are there. Maybe like people wanted to like guys said they wanted to like skip back. They want to like rewind it certain times, and it just happened to be like there happened to be some spikes, and over time people, because they want to see where the spike is, so it kind of, they generate more and more and more clicks to that area, making more appealing as time goes on to the snowball. It's good that it's a little, it's good that it's not very beat oriented at the same time. Give us like a breather, Nice. I'm liking how it's like slowly fizzling out. It's good. It's nice. Almost sounds like a vinyl almost. Next track, track 8, Purple Hearts in Our Eyes. You know, I was kind of knocking some of their more recent stuff for being like, well, I like all the songs, but I don't really remember them once they turn off, you know? They lack, like, specific strong identities per track, but, like, I don't know if it's necessarily I don't know if it's a bad or a good thing. I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. It's very good when it's on. It's a nice vibe. There's a lot of detail, but like, I feel like you get to go to like certain albums rather than like certain specific songs. Yeah, I don't know. But there's definitely songs I like specifically, you know. And I don't know if I'd like rather. I don't know if I'd want to listen to a full album somewhere, you know. I mean, I would, but like, I'd rather more often, you know, listen to specific tracks, and as it's looking, I might like Car Accident on like certain days, but Looming.Sorrow.Descent might be my favorite off the album. Might be one I go back to a lot, just like Effer, Zender, whatever, Love Story. The moral oral sample. You like party to, but also like you can definitely like just sit in it and like kind of like, you know, just get lost in like the textures and all the different little details and stuff. There's like a lot going on at all times. It's very nice. Those vocal stuff I don't know. Can I slow down? I saved this, right? I want to make sure I save this one. Okay, I did. Cool. I don't know if you can tell, but I am straight vibing. I'm even high. I'm not even high. I'm totally so. Just head empty, full of vibes, man. Next track, I ain't saying that name. For the same reason that I never say their name. I just, there's, you know. Well, that sounds like screaming. Ooh. Lots of distortion on this one. Wow. Holy shit. Damn, man. They go this hard? What the fuck? What the fuck? This ain't fucking depressing ass music. This is like, you know, there's a point. I don't know if you've reached this point. There's a point when you're like so depressed it turns to like anger. Like, that's what that sounds like. This isn't any normal darkness. This is advanced darkness. You know, I think you know what? When you're dealing with advanced darkness, I gotta pop this in a sport mode. Yeah, there we go. Ow. Ow. Tactical depression sport mode. Next track is Ecocide? Ecocide? It's not a sweet. Maybe. Ecocide sweet, I guess. Anyways. Ah yes, my favorite pastime. Lying on the ground and feeling like garbage.
I'm liking the glitchy synths. Huh?
Fear of cum?
Huh? What?
There. Alright. Taking that out of sport mode. Actually, this angle of the camera is better, actually. I don't know so much useless background shit. And I guess it is a suite now, technically. I guess. Am I subscribed to though?
I don't remember doing that.
There's a misclick on my phone, but you know what? I don't know if I'll undo it. Or I might leave it. I like never subscribe to artists, so I don't know why that'd be there. I don't like subscribing to artists. I don't see the point. Like, if I'm subscribed to an artist, if I'm subscribing to a channel, right? It's so I know when. So it's for updates. I know when things happen. But if it's an artist that doesn't release anything, or it's something every if it's an artist that's like not releasing stuff anymore because they're dead or something. Or an artist that, like, you know, is releasing music that I care about, I'll hear about it when they release it, you know, like, people will be talking about it, you know. I don't really care about being, like, the first to see it. I'm not the guy that will comment first on every video, you know. How is that? 50? Jesus, let me turn that down a little bit. Now the album's actually a bit louder and stuff, you know. I like in parts of this especially, but it's not my favorite. Nice, I guess. There we go. Next track, track 11, Antidepressant. I'll be right back. Next track never existed. I'll be literally like 10 seconds. I'm back. Hopefully it's been 10 seconds. Hold on. I gotta do this right. Hold on a second. Yeah, sure. That works. Then. Crunch. Alrighty. Cool. And now. Whoops, where did it go? Oh, it's down there. Okay. Perfect. Let's see. I want the one where the flashing light rainbow lights down. Nice. Again, I don't have a lot of oh. It's not over, Dan. It's not over, Dan. The game's not over, Dan. My name is not Dan. That is a Game Grumps reference. I don't really know about having this an individual song having a its own like outro like this when like the like main meat and potatoes tracks and the outro tracks and intro tracks are already split up between the tracks, and it's god damn it, there we go. There, okay. So it would have been nice if that was an outro, but it's not. So, next track, track 13, Blooming Iridescent Flower. I'm liking that bass and that like very like, it's not like a wah pedal, but like it has like kind of like, you know, it's that good wub wub or whatever. But, you know that. It's that like wub wub synth whatchamacallit. This reminds me a lot of like I don't know. Like, I feel like this album's more like trance inspired than the other ones. I mean, with being a Skitzofrenia simulation, you know, I feel like that kind of ties it together a bit more too. Again, I feel bad for not talking, but I only want to talk over it. You know, it's doing good. I'm mainly thinking about a lot of other stuff. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm falling into the music and shit. You know. Uh-huh. There we go. Next track, the last track. Track 14, Wish With You Forever. I think that's Lane. I think. I can't hear it well enough. It's too like distorted and stuff. You like the tone of the voice. One interesting effect on the vocals at the end. Also, I think it was a Lane sample because it ended with like power lines. And that's a very this is what I mean. Like in people, the power lines is a very Lane thing. So here's my problem, right? It's a very good album, but I feel like as like see, there's good and bad wallpaper. Oh yeah, my fucking block. Oh, God damn it. So like there's good and bad wallpaper, right? Some music that is like because it's boring or low quality or whatever, and it happens to become wallpaper. You know, like some of Drake's stuff, or stuff like this where like or ambient music where it's actively trying to be wallpaper instead of very specific tone and create a specific environment. That's very different. And like, see, it's really good at doing that, but my issue is it's not super memorable. Besides that, like you can't like it's really hard to remember. It's not really a you don't remember vibes too much. Like kind of, but not really. You remember like the general feel of a vibe, but you don't remember the vibe. Like when you remember a melody, you remember the melody. You know what I mean? Like it's a very specific, exact thing. It's very easy to recall. A vibe already something like hard to pinpoint. It's very specific. And even like even whatever it's giving you, you yourself on different days and different situations can interpret it like slightly differently too. So you can I could listen to this today and a different day and get like two different things. That is to say, like I'm not gonna remember this when I turn this off. I'm gonna remember certain specific tracks like Looming.Sorrow.Descent, Car Accident, the one that shall not be named, for memorable moments and parts in those songs. So I feel like if they can have an album that good at atmosphere and also make every track memorable, then I feel like they didn't really do a super good job. Like I feel like if it's just texture, yeah, it's a great album, but it'd be hard to rate because it's kind of forgettable in it being very texture focused. Every time I listen to this artist, I feel like you know I don't. I'm slowly getting certain things. Like this album's kind of more trancey. The first album, Don't Be Afraid of Dying, is more like beats. Like I'm slowly piecing apart like the little differences in vibe between releases. But like when I listen to them, I end up walking away from the album not remembering the album. I remember certain songs. So like if it was just about texture and stuff, I'm like sure, I guess good album. But I know they can make the individual songs memorable while keeping the vibe of the album. So if we're going on that metric, I don't think it was that great because I can only remember like 2, 3 tracks. So I don't know what I don't like. I feel like I could either. It's not below a 5. It's not gonna be that bad because even if the songs aren't memorable, like the texture, the mixing, like the sampling, everything was done so well. Besides that one little thing. So I feel like I don't know. Mm, I don't know. Maybe it's not a 5. Let's go up. It's not a 5, of course. It's higher than that. I wouldn't say a 6. 7 feels right. 8 doesn't feel too high. But like I am starting to question it around 8. I would say this is a good like 7. If there is more songs or memorable, You know, I'd say 8. If even there's like one or two more, but like 3 out of 14's not. It's not that great. You know, if this was a waste, even if it was 3 out of like, it's percentage thing, like 3 out of 7, that's almost half. 3 out of 14, that's not good. you know, um, I'd say 7. Yeah, I'm happy with 7. I think 7 works. I think a lot of their albums for me have been like around that like 7, 8ish. You know, I do want to do this album at some point. 17 minutes. Holy fuck. Damn, man. Fucking prog, uh, prog rock. I don't want to say it. I do want to do that. I do want to do the album eventually, though. We had some good times. Don't forget that. I think that's what it's called. Something like that. I want to do that eventually. But